What I will, DJ on the mic, what chopping and screwing all the way to EX10, baby. And my DMs are being flooded and like, yo, where the rocks at? Where the rocks at? And I'm like, don't worry, me and Clips are coming in real nice. So in this video, I'm going to give you my first rendition of how I would build rocks in EX10, which I would like to share with you. Just want to obviously throw a little disclaimer is that, you know, it's a rough draft, so, you know, don't cook me in the comments, you know what I'm saying? But if this is the video for you, stick around and enjoy, hype it up to the max. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the notification bell, because I do videos on the reg for real. Okay, DJ, what play my shit?
Digital gate open.
Okay, let's get to the nitty gritty. What we got here, we got rocks, baby, and this list is compiled leaning on the strengths of obviously the main gimmick of rocks. Obviously, we're trashing our sources, and then we're going to reload, and we're going to get all the goodness and so forth. So the eggs right here is definitely a unconventional split, but the thing that's really good with rocks is the fact that effectively you can always reload your eggs back up into your main stack and really utilize the actual inheritables in either an offensive way or in a defensive way. And sometimes we just kind of have to play on both. So the new one that we do get from EX10 is at an opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks, by attaching 3 mineral or rock trait cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards, end that attack, which is incredibly strong right here. Being a puppet player, we have an inheritable which is similar to this, but we just have to pop another a token or a puppet in order for us to effectively end that attack. The thing that's really good with this is the fact that when we are trashing our sources, we are also getting the effects off them, which effectively, depending on what we've actually got, could really absolutely ruin the opponent's career. So this is why I've kind of leaned on 2 on this, because essentially we can use this as a tool. But primarily, you are going to be kind of leaning with the EX8 egg, because that gaining a memory is just so crucial for further extending your plays you would not believe. So if you can manage to kind of get at least 2 of each in trash, you're going to be laughing. But you are wanting to obviously, you know, memory manipulate in order for you to extend your plays and also, you know, cheat up your Evo lines and be memory efficient. So really good stuff there in regards to egg. So at the moment it's currently a 3-2 split, and I feel like we do value a lot of the whole strat and, you know, utilizing these eggs coming back into source. So let's go over to now the Pyramidimons and the level 3. So being able to reduce Evo cost is always the worth, and I personally really value this in a puppet build, just because, you know, being able to cheat up into our champion for, you know, effectively 2 is going to be really good for us right there. And then if, depending on what egg we have in the source, if we do have the memory efficient egg and we basically trigger a trashing effect when using our Wind Digivolving effect, it's going to be costing us 3. So, you know, not going to be costing us anything at all. So it's absolutely fantastic there. It's inevitable, and this is going to be a common trend, is that if this is trash, we are able to delete a play cost 4 or less Digimon from the opponent's side, which is pretty much standard and definitely a common theme there. So we do run that at 4, and then we just want to talk about this one. So this one, I currently have this at 2. How I look at this card, initially reading, is essentially a tool, because what this enables us to do on play is that you're able to place 2 mineral or rock trait Digimon from your trash as the bottom Digivolution source of one of your Digimon with mineral or rock. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this Digimon, it can be anything. So what you can effectively do, it can actually help you reload one of your main stacks, so it's got more sources in there, so effectively it can fragment many more times than just essentially the initial one, because obviously depending if you're at Pyramidimon or Magnetic Dramon, effectively you are going to be, you know, fragmenting 3. So that's quite a few of your sources kind of removed. But this, what you can kind of do with this one is that you can actually play your emblem, throw this out, you've set up your emblem, you've popped this out, you've put more sources on your main stack, and then you've got pretty much 2 bodies on field, and you've got one that's going to be heavily protected right there. So really solid card right here. It's a bit, it wouldn't be great if you have to obviously Evo him back with this, but if you have to, you have to. But mainly it's more we're using it more for that kind of that on-play magic to kind of get sources in our stack. Then we still run the Gotsumon from EX8. The reason being is just that inheritable is definitely key. We have ways to gain blocker, but it's only till like the end of the opponent's turn, then you just don't have blocker anymore. Sometimes you will just, be nice to just have blocker in your stack there, especially because we just want to kind of ensure that, if we don't happen to OTK, we do have ways to essentially negate an attack, and if we don't have the egg to end an attack, at least we can still block right there. Also, its on deletion is kind of helpful as well, because by trashing a card with mineral or rock trait, you're able to draw 2, which is, once again, lovely. And then we still run the Staple Searcher from EX8. This is definitely a mainstay, definitely one runs at 4. You are going to be utilizing this off your emblem, because obviously you can play this and you can get further searching, further setup, all the source right there. If you don't run this at 4, I don't know what you're doing with your life. That's all I'm saying with that. So let's go over to the champions. So champions, I do run 9. Reason being is just due to deck space, and we do have great ways to kind of search a bit more efficiently now with this in this deck. So we go in with the new EX10 Landramon. The reason being is that it does have an on-play, and also when digivolving, by trashing any card with mineral or rock trait from your Digimon Digivolution cards, one of your Digimon with mineral or rock trait gains blocker and reboot plus 3000 DP to the end of your opponent's turn. That is really strong right there. Can really help out if you have to go a bit aggressive, because our new level 5 has collision and also piercing, which means that we can get some additional damage in before we go up into our top end and do some more damage. So we actually be able to push a little bit earlier, which is definitely great right there. Inheritable, similar to the rookies that we're able to pop a play cost 4 lower if this is trash from our Digivolution source, which is great. So we do run that at 3. We do run the essentially the level 4 that's going to help us play close. Now once again, because we've got ways to get close out more efficiently, we can kind of reduce this down. Just because 9 times out of 10 we do want to be setting up with our close, especially in the memory setup, because that enables emblem to go hard. It really does right there. To be honest, all the closes kind of help on the emblem front, but being able to just load up 2 sources is going to help you massively versus the 1. So this is just there for just that kind of tamer efficiency plays that you want to be kind of rocking out with, and that's pretty much it. Then we do run with the actual promo Landramon. The inheritable is definitely going to be great for us to further control the opponent's field. We already know how strong the Digivolve is. It's an absolute pain. I hate the keyword, but it is definitely crucial in this form of meta, and that's what we that's what Rox's strength is the de-Digivolve. We've got a lot of targets that literally we can strip and just absolutely de-Digivolve them to an atom. That's how far this de-Digivolve goes right here. But it does have a great start of main phase and when digivolving by trashing 1 mineral or rock trait card from any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. Reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Among them, add 1 mineral or rock trait card to the hand, or place 1 such card to the or place 1 such card as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. Return the rest to the top or bottom of the deck. So you've got great stacking capability. You can further load cards under this Digimon, and you can also trash any card from any mineral trait card from any of your sources. That rarely probably comes up because naturally you don't necessarily have multiple Digimon out on field in this deck, but it might be a scenario where that does come up right there, which you obviously can leverage. So definitely run this as a solid 4 of very strong Digimon right here to support the archetype. Now we go over to the level 5. So level 5s, we're keeping it simple right here. Once again, really capitalizing that on that de-Digivolve inheritable when it's obviously getting trash. There's a lot of de-Digivolve right here. We're like, when we're still stacking up, the opponent better have de-Digivolve protection. That's all I am saying. So let's have a look at the new Pro Ganomon, because this is actually a very, very strong card right here. So the thing that's really good is the fact that it can warp, which is really strong. And combo that up with the memory reducer Sunarisamon, you could evo into this for the cost of 2, which is beautiful right there. So hand main, if obviously, we know that. We can do the warp. I'm not going to read that out. So we've got on play, we've got when digivolving and when attacking, which is very strong right here. This boy is going to be able to give you that nice initial check before you ramp up into your Pyramidimon. So, by trashing any one mineral or rock trait card from your Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your such Digimon gains collision, piercing, and 3 KDP until the end of the opponent's turn. This goes freaking hard right here, because you can proc this twice. Like, granted, you don't need double piercing. Like, yeah, you don't need any of that, but but that additional boost, 6k boost, lovely. Obviously, either on top of your Landramon of this set, blam, this guy is 9k boosted, which is massive. You can definitely swing, you definitely trigger a collision if they happen to have a Digimon unsuspended. They have to force the block, and you just go in and go in for that big damage before you go into your big boy. So we do run that at a solid 4, very strong card. Then we just run the classic right here. This has just got the piercing, it's got the collision, and also got the fragment 3. Pretty, self-explanatory. It doesn't really, it's not wow or anything, but it's still a solid level 5 because that inheritable, that Digivolve, we love to see it. We keep it all in archetype right there. Now let's go over to the big boys. We go to the level 6s right here. We're keeping it very clean and simple because Pyramidimon is still a powerhouse. If this boy gets out and it's kept turn, sheesh, it is going in, and in. We're talking Shin, Shoryuken. It's absolutely breaking jaws. It's absolutely breaking jaws right here. Evo for 4, which is definitely not a problem now that we got Emblem. Like, going into this for the cost of 1 off Emblem is filthy. It's filthy. They don't even need Magnetic Dramon at this point. It's just pure filth alone, just going into this. So, when digivolving and when attacking, and these are not once per turn, by trashing any 3 Digivolution cards with mineral or rock trait from one of your Digimon, this Digimon unsuspends and gains security attack +1 for the turn. So the fact that this stack gains that works well with your Magnetic Dramon right there. And to be honest, Magnetic Dramon doesn't even need additional security attack, but why not treat yourself, right? And then end of turn, once per turn, you may place up to 3 cards with mineral or rock trait from your trash as this Digimon's Digivolution source. So bang, just reload, ready to go, not even a problem. And this is where Close the Tamer really works well, because you just literally load up. You load up really easy, and then you just go for that big damage. The new Pyramidi, just don't know if I'm vibing with it. I just don't know if I'm vibing with it. This boy can clean up pretty nicely right there, and the fact that we've got ways to kind of cheat up into this for pretty much really cheap is nutty. Like, you will comfortably go into this and you will apply a lot of pressure. No kidding. But let's go to the new boy right here. This artwork is just peak. It's just legit peak. Magnetic Dramon, very powerful card right here. 14k DP, love to see it. It does have Fragment 3. You can Evo from Pyramidimon if you have Close Out for the cost of 6. That's just a common trend. If you have Emblem and you manage to suspend, you go in this for the cost of 3, which is once again pretty nutty right here. Does have a when digivolving and when attacking, which are not once per turns. By trashing 3 mineral or rock trait cards from any of your Digimon Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon and trash their top card of their security. The fact that this right here is not once per turn is freaking nuts. Absolutely nuts. And this is why you want to be making sure that your line is stacked. Like, absolutely stacked, because that's when you're just going to be ending games so efficiently with this. It is really strong. And then when digivolving and also when attacking, and this is a once per turn, by placing 3 of your mineral and rock trait cards from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards, unsuspend it, which you can control the order of how this works. which is pretty sweet. You could load up first and unsuspend if you've managed to kind of swing with your Pyramidimon, and then you trigger the when digivolving to then trash those minerals to then basically blow a Digimon up and then trash the top side of the security, meaning that you're just going to be reloading that freaking memory gain egg constantly right there. As long as you can get those in trash, you're laughing. You are absolutely laughing. So very strong level 7 for the deck. Not gonna lie, Fragment 3 goes hard. Yeah, really beautiful card. Really love to see it. So let's go over to now the options. So options, we're kind of keeping it nice and clean. Emblem. Emblem. I think Emblem's going to be really good for this deck because it means that you can play your closes out a lot more efficiently. We are a bit more of a high count on the memory setter close just because, once again, we want to be able to suspend on Digivolve, which makes things a lot more smoother in order for us to kind of climb a lot more efficiently. The thing that's really good here is the fact that we can play this out. We can, you know, we've got options. We can play out a Pyramidimon from trash if we want to, or we can play a close for either the cost of 3, or, you know, if we're playing out the memory setter, we've saved out on 1 memory, which is always lovely right there. So absolutely beautiful. We do run that at 3. I think 3 is just a nice solid count. It's definitely what I'm running in puppets, and it goes silky smooth. We still run the option Zoffer Cabus. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but I feel like just running one of this just comes in nice. I think it's just very clutch. I mean, even from a security effect perspective, just be able to pop Lois is always good. Keeps it spicy, but also the main effect is very strong here as well. Just able to gain collision, piercing, reboot. It just makes us enable us to kind of, you know, if we have a matchup which we're naturally weak against, this can kind of come up quite nicely. Granted, we are running it as a one-off, but it is searchable, which is perfect. The good thing about this as well is that we can't be returned to hand or deck, which is once again very solid right here. So definitely still run that as a cheeky one-off just because we've got space, but you can easily like supplement that for, you know, kind of change it for either a black memory boost, which we do run this at 2, just for that nice bit of searchability, and also memory efficiency when we need it. And then we do, or you could increase your defense training count. So it just means that you can once again clamp your line a lot more efficiently. Also grab your Tamers there as well, which is always welcomed. So then we go to Tamers. So Tamers, we do a 3-2-2 split. So here we have the new one, which the new one is banging. Like the common theme that we see with the these kind of Tamers is that effectively we can return it to the bottom of our deck to play out a close, which is banging. Obviously, we can kind of swap out for one of our memory setters because obviously it's, you know, it's a very solid card to get out. And then if you don't have a Digimon out, you may play a Pyramidimon from your trash without paying the cost, which is great for that further setup right there. You love to see it. Does have an alternative, is that when effects trash any of your mineral or rock trait Digimon's Digivolution cards by suspending this Tamer, gain a memory. Nice turnstile shenanigans there as well. A very powerful Tamer. A very powerful Tamer here. Once again, that memory efficiency is going to work quite nicely there too to further extend plays when it's your turn, and then possibly, you know, if the opponents happen to delete you, you can trigger Fragment, which then you can suspend this and gain memory. So combination that with the egg, depending on how many eggs you do have in the source, with this, steal turn. Filthy. So we'll go over to the close memory setter. The reason why I've actually built this up to 3, like I've mentioned, one is a memory setter. Starting up 3 is always good in this deck, but it is the condition for suspending this is simply by digivolving, and I feel like that is highly valued when you are playing a very emblem focused deck. The thing that's really good here is that we can actually get sources in our main stack a lot more efficiently there as well, which is really good. Obviously, we do want to load that up a lot, so when we're at our top pond, we just go bang, 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 bang. So having multiple of these out is going to be very good for you. Going to be very good. If you can get 2 out, you're laughing. Then we do run the promo close here at a solid 2. So this is once again further gaining memory for the opponent has the Digimon out, and then on top of that, when any effect trashes this card from any of your mineral trait cards by suspending this Tamer, place one card with mineral or rock trait from your trash as its bottom distribution cards right there. So obviously it's just a form of reloading, which once again we do want to be doing that. The more sources we have, the more damage output that we can do, the more controlling that we can do there as well, which we like to control. We like to do big damage right there. So that concludes that for the list. This is obviously the first take Drake right here, so I feel like, yeah, very solid. I think the only thing that I'm probably a bit uncertain about is maybe the egg selection. Maybe we just knock that down to possibly 1, and then we knock that down to 4, or knock it up to 4, because this is just a very strong egg for the overall strat, just, you know, gaining memory. The fact that we can constantly reload and reuse, we're just printing memory at that point. I think that's probably the play that I would go down with, but the inevitable of this is strong. But I suppose the main game plan that I'm doing with this list is that when we push out, the game should be done. The game should be hopefully curtained by that point. But guys, if you enjoyed the video and the list, make sure you smash it like as standard, hype it up, you already know the drill. And guys, stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you in the next one. That's your boy D Dread, off the mic.